Hey, welcome back to the Engineer Channel. Today, we're not all about shine. We're out in the dirt and the dust. We're in Colorado, and I want to show you the Polaris Ranger 2019 20th Anniversary Edition. Come right back. So this is a 2019 Polaris Ranger 20th Anniversary Edition. So these bikes new cost around $20,000 to $22,000 for the little single cab. They also made a crew cab model with the fully enclosed cab, glass windows, glass windshield, full doors, roll-up windows. And a lot of people would say, well, why buy one of those? Why wouldn't you go buy a little used Jeep for that much money? Well, we'll show you here in a minute. I think this is a lot more capable than a Jeep in really tight circumstances when you're talking about off-roading or whatnot. So this is a neat truck, and it's really designed for work. This is not a rip up the mountains kind of vehicle. So this vehicle is not going to be fast like a Polaris Razor. It's a lot more tame. Even though it's 1,000 cc, well, really it's not. It's 999 cc, but they call it 1,000. I guess that's close enough. But the power on this bike it's underwhelming as far as throw you back in the seat power. But as far as work and horsepower, this bike's got it. Okay, so this little quad will hold in the bed 1,750 pounds. And it's got a 2-inch receiver hitch on it, and from that you can tow 2,500 pounds. It's got a 2-cylinder liquid-cooled 4-stroke engine making 82 horsepower, and so this is really designed for the farm or it's a work truck, right? But in this case, this works in Colorado, climbing the hills and going and looking for elk. So up front, you can see a couple things. You got your heavy-duty grill guard or a brush guard, and you also have a 4,500-pound electric winch, which is activated from the cab, and I'll show you how that's activated here in a minute. So this thing can really push over the brush and do some climbing if you need to. It's got the really knobby off-road tires on it, and the paint is really fantastic. It's got a 2-tone paint job. It's got kind of this pewter color here in the middle with a copper tone metal flake on the other side, and it looks really great. This bike has a lot of extra add-ons. Like, these are not the original tires. These are Pro Armors with some aftermarket aluminum wheels. It's got an aftermarket light bar on the top, an LED light bar. We got an extra. If you're out wheeling really hard and you blow a tire, what are you going to do? Well, you just carry a spare with you. And then also it's got this kind of truck box on the back that looks really cool. This is by Razorback Off-Road. And so got room for the cooler in the back, or if you're working, feed or whatever. And then the bed on this does actually tip as well. And then finally on the outside of this bike, we come around to the back, you see it's got a really heavy-duty bumper, so you're not going to back into a rock or anything and do any damage on this. It's got a step bumper on here where you can add a second seat in the back to see through. However, with the one with the solid glass windows, it doesn't make much sense to have somebody sitting right behind you there. Got a tailgate with the cup holders. You know, when you're done working, you might want to have a frosty cold one. Let's take a look on the inside, because that's where this bike really is different from all the Polarises in the past. So let's look on the inside. So the inside of this bike is really what's different from the old Polaris. Look at the seats. We've got a 2-tone vinyl upholstery. You've got the kind of the buckskin leather against the black. Looks really cool. The back of the seats are embroidered with the 20th anniversary logo. You've got a flip-out windshield, so you can release it and push out your windshield, and that gives you all the fresh air you want in. But if you're riding somewhere like where we are now, it gets really dusty, really handy to have that windshield down. On the dash, you'll see some things that are different here. Got a stereo system in it. It's included in this. It has on the window, this flipped up with the window, but it has a windshield wiper, as you may have seen in the last shot there, and it has a windshield washer, which is kind of cool. I've never seen a Polaris with one of those on it. The transmission has several different modes. It's got a performance mode, a standard mode, and a work mode. And then on your transfer case, you have 3 different modes as well. You've got a one-wheel drive, which we would call like a turf mode, so that the back wheel doesn't turn and tear up your yard as you're turning around. You've got a two-wheel drive in the back, so it has a locker in the rear diff. And then you've got a true four-wheel drive where all four wheels are pulling. It's got the shifter on this is kind of unique. It's kind of like the old Dodges. We used to call them slap shifts, right? That came out of the dashboard. The old Dodge trucks used to have this kind of shifter on it. All the way up is high, all the way down is park. It's got a tilt steering wheel. And the interesting thing is it's got an air conditioning. It's got heat and cool. Now, I have to be honest with you. The cool is not going to freeze you out. It is a hint, at best, of air conditioning. But this is still an off-road vehicle. The cab is very leaky, so the cab it's not airtight. You can stick your finger through the corner of the windshield out to the fresh air, so it's not sealed up tight like an OEM factory, vehicle would be. So don't think that will be. It does have defrosters up here on the front, so if you're in a cold situation, you can defrost. And check it out, roll-up windows, which is really cool. To get out of the doors, you have a little latch, just push forward and your doors open up. Lots of cup holders. You've got two different glove boxes. You've got one up here on the top, and then you've got your normal glove box here. And then you also have your winch controller, which will plug into a port on the dash, and then you can in-out on your winch. So like I said, this little motor makes 82 horsepower. It has an 11.5 gallon tank, so it has it carries a lot of gas. It doesn't get great gas mileage, however, so you're going to need that amount of gas to go a long distance. But for an off-road vehicle, this is really great. So let's get some action shots and let's show you some of the advantages. Why would you have this over maybe a Jeep? Why would you buy one of these if you could get a nice used Jeep for the same price? Well, number one, this vehicle is it's smaller than a Jeep by a long shot. I mean, I can reach up to my hand and I can touch the front bumper. So it's very short in the front. So for tackling really aggressive obstacles, this is going to be a little bit better than a Jeep. So one more thing about this bike is that they have paid a lot of attention to safety. One of the things that on this bike, and most four-wheelers or UTVs these days have this feature, in that if you don't have your seatbelt on, then the bike is basically in limp mode and it'll only run about 10 miles an hour. And so I'll show you how we get around that. Maybe I shouldn't show you that. So you make you a little tab that will plug into the seatbelt, and then the bike thinks you have the seatbelt all the time, and then you have the seatbelt circuit bypassed, and you can run this at any speed you'd like. All right, so it's time to fire it up, and let's show you a few of the obstacles that this little machine can tackle. Number one, we'll show you how agile it is in a small space and what the turning radius looks like. So I bet your Jeep can't turn that tight, can it? So let's go out and let's see if we can find some harder obstacles, and we'll get some action shots of this truck in service. How about that?
One down the bottom is pretty deep. It's got a deep cooling.
So top speed on this bike is going to be about 50 miles an hour. It's about as fast as you're going to be able to go. It's about as fast as you want to go in this anyway. So let's see if we can climb this little hill. It doesn't look bad, but it's worse in person, as all climbs in video up here. They never look as bad in the video as they do in person. So let's put it in low range. Let's see if we can climb this hill. Here we go. Down, and we're actually in one-wheel drive climbing this. Let's flip to four-wheel drive. Oh, we spun in the one-wheel drive. Okay, here we go into four-wheel drive. Let's see if we can continue on here. Oh, much better. So it doesn't look like this is about a 40-degree angle climb here, ascent, maybe 45 degrees. The old Ranger just says, bring me some more. It's very sure-footed, especially with these tires on here. This thing doesn't slip at all. This bike has 13 inches of ground clearance, so it'll go over most of the big obstacles in the trail. You still got to be careful, but there are skid plates on the bottom. Okay, now you can see we're pointed straight down the hill. Again, here on the descent is where you have to rely on your brakes because of the engine brake. I don't know, the engine brake is actually, I'm not touching the brake at all. This is completely on the transmission. And it's not rolling out. I'm on a 45-degree decline here, and I am not touching the brake. And we're creeping along on this 45-degree decline at 1 mile per hour. So the engine brake on this, actually, it's pretty fantastic. I'm gonna have to give it gas to go down the hill. All right, so we sped up. Let's see if it'll slow down by itself or it just keeps going faster and faster and faster. Okay, yes. It keeps going faster and faster and faster. So once you slow down, it starts going faster and faster and faster. So if you're looking to get some work done around the farm or you want to go play out in the woods, take a look at the Polaris Ranger XP 1000 20th anniversary edition, and you can be a little stylish. And for big boys like me, this is a very comfortable vehicle. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at this, and I'll see you back here next time on the Engineered Channel.